Michelle, the Children's Librarian at the Sheridan County Public Library System, and welcome to another session of Bookmarks. This is where I kind of tease you into thinking about reading another book. But this one, it might be a little scary, so make sure the lights are on. This is called Hamstersaurus Rex by Tom O'Donnell, illustrations by Tim Miller. A Hamstersaurus Rex? That's not very scary. Oh, okay. Here we go. Certain class pets will go down in legend. We've all heard of the duck of Martinsville Elementary that could use an electric pencil sharpener. And of course there was Bert the chameleon that Mrs. Stinson's fourth graders all swore they saw go plaid at one time. And some kids at my schools still whisper of the goldfish that could see 15 minutes into the future, but was cursed with the inability to tell anyone what it heard, because it's a goldfish. Impressive as these creatures are, none of them can compare to Hamstersaurus Rex. He was a giant among rodents, a folk hero of all time. He was the pride of Mr. Copeland's 6th grade class. Most of all, he was my friend. Nobody knew where Hammy Rex came from. All we knew is when we returned to school after Columbus Day, there was a hamster cage in the corner. Mr. Copeland seemed as surprised as anyone. Well, kids, I guess we have a hamster now, he said with a shrug. Nobody at school ever tells me anything. I wish this hamster was a turtle, said Tina Gomez. Do you think the pet shop has an exchange policy? Oh, I bet we could return him and get like 150 snails, said Wilbur Webb. Wilbur had a lot of snails at home, I guess, and it wasn't enough. I looked at the cage. At first glance, he appeared to be a normal hamster. Orange fur, pink nose, beady black eyes. Then he opened his mouth and made a weird growling noise. The other kids were startled. Even though he was the size of a muffin, the hamster wasn't afraid of anything. I think the new hamster's cool, I said, drawing a quick sketch of the little guy in my notebook. Nah, I think he's dumb, said Beaver Vanderkoff, squinting at me from across the room. His real name was Kiefer, but only teachers called him that. Stoic, Beaver, said Dylan DeMont. She was my best friend, and pretty fearless. Kids enough, said Mr. Copeland, frowning. Martha Cherry raised her hand. Arnold, may I address the class, please? She said. Everyone but Beaver rolled their eyes. Okay, Martha, said Mr. Copeland, but seriously, you have to call me Mr. Copeland, okay? We've been over this. She nodded and turned to the rest of us. Classmates, I just wanted to tell you that even though having a pet seems like fun and games, it's really a huge responsibility that you're probably not ready for. Why? Asked Dylan. Martha Cherry rubbed her the wrong way like no one else. Because, Dylan, most of you are careless and quite frankly immature. I took on an online quiz and said my mental age is 45, so caring for a hamster isn't rock science, says Dylan. You give it food, water every day, change the wood chips on something. I think we can handle it. Well, my Uncle Tony happens to be a zoologist who specializes in hamsters, and he says it's much, much more complicated than that, said Martha, with a smug look of her face. I just think it would be best if we were to pick someone, a person known for being very, very responsible, and assign her the duty of caring for our beloved new cast pet. Mr. Copeland sighed. Yes, fine, Martha, you can be hamster monitor. She squealed with glee and incredibly disturbed and said, oh, thank you so much. Mr. Copeland, may I ask, will I be issued an official hamster monitor ID card and lanyard? No, said Mr. Copeland. Well, I'll make my own, said Martha. Knock yourself out, said Mr. Copeland. Okay, so who's ready to learn about pilgrims? Excuse me, Mr. Copeland. Martha had her hand raised again. Mr. Copeland raised his hand. Yes, Martha. I think new hamster needs a name. Fine. As hamster monster, I officially decree that the hamster's name is Toothbrush. This prompted a chorus of boos from the other kids. Oh, no, said Caroline Mooney. Let's call him Zolfroth the Destroyer. More boos. What about Shelley, said Wilbur Weaver. Still more boos. Maybe Wilbur can only think of good names for snails. I think the hamster should be called Martha Jr., said Beaver. The boos stopped. Everyone stared at him in silence. I don't know, whatever. Man, everyone shut up. Suddenly the perfect name to me in a flash. I didn't dare speak up for fear of provoking Beaver further. Instead, I wrote it on a scrap of paper, passed it to Dylan while Mr. Copeland wasn't looking. Dylan read the note and nodded satisfied. Look, we're calling the little dude Hamstersaurus Rex, she said to the class. End of discussion. They all stared at her now. Coming from me, the name would have been a hard sell, but most people actually liked Dylan. Just look at his tiny little T-Rex arms, Dylan added with a shrug, like it was obvious. The class did. Everyone agreed that his arms were indeed tiny. And there's a picture of him. I don't know, Dylan, said Tina. I guess I see his arms things, but how else is he like a dinosaur? He doesn't. The hamster growled again. That settled it. The 6th grade class hamster was officially Hamstersaurus Rex, Everyone seemed happy about it except Beaver. He must have been pretty attached to Martha Jr. Now about these pilgrims to Mr. Copeland. So way back in the 1600s, everyone wore these funny hats. Now I'm going to put the bookmark here because bookmarks are great. First of all, you know when you close the books, the characters do nothing till you came back. But the bookmark tells them that you will be coming back. And this is called Hamstersaurus Rex by Tom Donnell, illustrated by Tim Miller. But I'm glad you joined me, and I'll see you next time. And you do brighten the day, but I have to see what's going to happen next. So I'll catch you later. Oh, Martha, you just be quiet. Don't, no.